Let's go ahead. We'll have some more warnings to talk about. This over in Buchanan County. We'll do a wider view. Again, we continue to watch the severe threat here. We have this new tornado warning now for Northwestern Buchanan County. We'll pop in there, kind of talk about what we're talking about here. This just south of the Fayette County area circulation. So Littleton, Bryansburg, it is just north of Independence. So Independence is not inside this tornado warning, but do keep in mind that you do want to keep an eye out for that. Hazleton, Danny Murphy, I don't know if you're watching, make sure you're in a safe place and also report to us as soon as you can any things that are happening out that way. One of our great weather spotters up that way. I want to make sure you're staying safe up in Hazleton. Again, this is for Buchanan County. We'll pop the velocity view on. We'll take a look at it. Looks like the air circulation is actually just off to the west. This gets kind of funky. You got different weather service offices kind of butting heads here. So this warning is technically under the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities. They decided to warn it based on this circulation. The National Weather Service in the Des Moines decided not to. Red tape, politics, government, whatever. But there's the circulation right there. Again, southeast of Dunkerton. This does continue eastward into Buchanan counties. So again, Independence is not inside the tornado warning, but again, you're still going to likely be dealing with some pretty gusty winds either way. This is radar indicated, nothing confirmed with this right now, but 54 miles an hour, that's at wind shear, that's spin in the atmosphere. That is pretty high, and so I would definitely treat this storm with some respect. We do know that, again, this storm is part of the same complex that produced that damage up towards Waverly and Shell Rock. So unfortunately, we do know that this storm does have a history. By the way, if we do the road warrior shot, feel free to double box it. Just kind of want to keep an eye on that storm. That imagery you're seeing on the right side of your screen, that's that tornado warning up towards Chickasaw County. So if we do get a tornado warning there, or excuse me, a tornado in progress there, we should know pretty quickly. All right, let's pop down to the other storm. Again, we're working multiple tornado warnings here, working overtime. We got a lot of weather we're tracking tonight. We do have, again, this other tornado warning here in northern Tama County. So we'll zoom in on this. Like the other one in Buchanan County and Fayette counties, this one is not confirmed, but is radar indicated. There's indication of spin in the atmosphere. We also do have reports of funnel clouds and rotation with this storm not too long ago. So near Garwin, we did have some reports of weather spotters. Wonderful firefighters out there. Much appreciate their reports. We do know that there was some spin and rotation in the atmosphere, possibly a funnel cloud there. Again, this is northern Tama County. Again, does not include the city of Tama. Tama is not inside this warning. May get gusty later as this line continues to move off to the east-southeast. But in terms of the tornado threat, it is in northern Tama County here. We also see a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, which has just been issued. Probably tornado possible based on the sound I heard in the background. So let me zoom out. Oops, zoom out is what I wanted to do. And we'll kind of show that new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this new severe thunderstorm warning right here does include the rest of Buchanan County. Told is going to get gusty, and then northwestern Benton County as well. So that's that new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me pop over on the radar view. And again, the right side of your screen, that is that tornado warning up towards Chickasaw County. We do have a report of a confirmed tornado up that way. Very likely heavily wrapped in rain. We might not be able to see it live. That might be one of those tornadoes where we'll know after the fact as opposed to in real time. But again, that's that confirmed tornado warning up towards Chickasaw County and New Hampton. What I do want to do is velocity view, talk about some of the wind. There's some brighter greens showing up here. This isn't the right product. This is the base velocity opposed to the storm relative as opposed to the base velocity. Weather talk, don't worry about it. But there are still some pretty strong wind gusts likely approaching this storm here in northwestern Benton County into Buchanan counties as well. So that was a quick weather roundup of all the warnings in place. I don't know if, Sarah, if you have any new information kind of coming from the Weather Service, talk about any one of these storms that we're dealing with.
Yeah, so the new thunderstorm warning is the latest update that we do have. That we're looking at winds upwards of about 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts, so definitely damaging. You were correct, it is tornado possible, continues till 7:15 p.m. And I think it's important to note that if you're coming on to watch regular programming, likely not going to see it here tonight. We're staying with these storms as many areas are reporting damage and seeing those tornadoes on the ground. If you are just coming in, again, this is kind of getting into some of those more populated areas, not quite the Cedar Rapids area, but certainly getting close to that Lynn County line. We do have a couple different warnings at play. The biggest one is this tornado warning up to the north for Chickasaw County. It is still observed as of now. I'm not seeing any reports coming in from the National Weather Service or even through social media, but regardless, it is a very dangerous storm right on the fringe of New Hampton. If you're in the New Hampton area, you should already be in that safe space. You should be down in the lowest level of your home or the most interior room away from windows with your body and head covered as much as possible. You can kind of see that storm popping up there. That is the one that Nathan is on right now. Very damaging, or potential to be very damaging, looking very a shelf cloud. What was that? Oh, I'm Nathan. I'm sorry. We have Nathan. Nick was trying to tell me. Nathan, can you take it away and tell us what you're seeing there?
Hey, Sarah, how's it going? Well, of course, some trees have popped up here, obstructing our view a little bit of the storm. We are just to the south and west of New Hampton right now. Precipitation catching up to us very quickly. And I think what's going on with this storm, and this might be good news in some sense that maybe the tornado threat has gone down, even though the tornado warning is still in effect. But what you're seeing behind us here, and if we can get out of these trees, you get a really clear picture. You see how the base of the cloud is so dark that it's very bright underneath it, and you have a lot of rain back in there, maybe even some small hail as well. That's what we call the downdraft, the rear flank downdraft of the storm. And that is starting, and it looks like, to kind of surge ahead of this thing. There's still some circulation, but it might start to kind of cut off that warm inflow, which would be good in terms of the tornado threat, but it also does start to increase the wind threat with this. And so we're trying to stay out ahead of this, what we call, again, the rear flank downdraft. If there was still to be a tornado, it would be kind of back in there where you see it's still very, very dark. We're taking a turn a little bit closer to it. We kind of had to take a bit of a detour here. We're trying to get to Highway 18 to get into New Hampton out ahead of this storm. And if there were to be a tornado, it would be somewhere still kind of buried back in there. So tough to see from right now. Bottom line, though, if you're in New Hampton, North Washington, already seeing impacts from this. Lawler, even Fredericksburg, Jackson Junction, this is a very, very strong storm, and probably has some gusty winds with it, along with that tornado potential. So again, hopping up towards Highway 18, just to the west of New Hampton. We'll continue to bring you updates here from out in the Road Warrior. If we do see anything touchdown for right now, send it back to you in the studio.
All right, much appreciated, Nathan. Again, this is that tornado warning. Apparently a confirmed tornado still in progress with this storm. We can leave the double box up for a little bit. It's a very menacing view. Again, this tornado warning does continue here for central Chickasaw County. Appears like the circulation be very close to New Hampton right now. This continues to ride east on Highway US 18, crossing over New Hampton, and then it will turn onto Highway 24 as it continues to move off to the east there. Big menacing storm there. I can tell you that just from experience, it's what we call high precipitation, or HP, and the area of circulation probably just to the right of that tall pole there in the central part of your screen. That's kind of where the inflow is kind of reaching on the inside there. So that's probably the most interesting area right there, is just to the right of the power line. But again, very menacing skies there. Report of a confirmed tornado, again, is approaching New Hampton. This tornado warning does continue for Chickasaw County until 7:15. We can leave the double box up. Let's dance around a little bit until we have something a little bit more concerning here. Let's talk about the just wider view. We're approaching 6:40 here, 6:38 here in Iowa's News Now. We continue to follow a multiple tornado warning event. We have multiple confirmed tornadoes in progress that have either hit eastern Iowa earlier or are currently doing damage. So we do know the confirmed tornado near the New Hampton area in Chickasaw County. We also have three other tornado warnings technically. So we have 4 active warnings here in eastern Iowa. We'll jump through these. Again, we can stick with the double box for now. He's on the tornado warning storm up towards Chickasaw County. But what we're going to do here is look at the warnings here for Fayette County. Again, Olwine. Want to make sure you're in a safe place here in Olwine. This tornado warning does continue until, you can see there's 6:45. So we got about another 5 minutes or so. Hopefully we can give you all clear. But for now, Maynard over down towards Olwine. You want to make sure you're going to be in your safe place because possible tornado there. I did not mean to do that. Let me go back on the pan tool. We're going to jump down here to Buchanan County. Again, this tornado warning does continue for Northwestern Buchanan County. This until 7:15. This is another radar indicated threat. This would be approaching areas like Stanley down towards Independence. Independence is not inside the tornado warning, but you are under the severe thunderstorm warning. We're talking probably at least wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour there as this line continues to push off to the east. We'll pop down this way. We have this severe thunderstorm warning, as I kind of mentioned here. This is for far western portions of Buchanan County, also portions of northern Benton County. So Vinton currently under that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, we're talking about the potential of damaging wind gusts of 60 miles per hour and a possible tornado. Just given the environment today and what we've seen so far, there's some potential there. Over towards Garrison, my friends over at Johnson Farms, make sure you're taking cover. This is a pretty strong wind gust coming through your way right now, possibly 60 miles per hour. Again, that does include Brandon there in Buchanan County and Vinton. This storm will inevitably be approaching the Cedar Rapids metro. So we still have some time, but it is something to keep in mind that you want to make sure, again, you're getting ready for possible strong storms here in the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City metros before too long. Otherwise, we still have this tornado warning here. This one does continue for northern Tama County. Again, this one is until 6:45. This storm has a history of producing funnel clouds and rotation. We've not had any confirmed tornado reports with this storm in Tama County, but it is still rather menacing this way. So we need to keep watching this one. Again, passing likely very close to Garwin. Traer will be the next spot for this storm. Again, to recap, on the right side of your screen, what you're watching there is a live view from Weather First meteorologist Nathan Santo Domingo. He's on that tornado warning up towards Chickasaw County. There is a report of a confirmed tornado up that way. I don't know, maybe meteorologist Rebecca Copeland, if you just kind of want to talk about kind of the situation here, kind of an overview of the radar view over Iowa and kind of when things may begin to kind of wind down with we have the tornado watch, which continues as well. Kind of maybe do a quick update on all that happening here?
Yeah, we're unfortunately just starting to see some additional, warnings, and now this line kind of progressing as we go through the evening here. So if you want to take just max to full, we can kind of see the wide view of the thunderstorms here. So we do have, of course, still these warnings that are persisting, and we now have this line forming, which we expected. And the concern is, as this continues to progress down to the south and east, of course, we're still under that tornado watch. We could have still tornadoes and tornado warnings. These, though, as Nick was mentioning, that rain wrap situation, first of all, kind of twofold here. We could have a rain wrap situation and what we call QLCS, quasi-linear convective system kind of situation. You get these little rotations at the head of the line, which could happen very quickly and also could be wrapped in rain. Other situation here is it's going to start to get dark, and we're going to continue to see this progress down to the south and east. And as that happens, then you want to make sure that you have these multiple ways to get warnings, because this is going to be a time when, maybe you're going to bed and there's still going to be thunderstorms going on. The watch is out until midnight, and we could still have severe thunderstorm warnings during that time, possibly still even some areas of rotation. I did also want to go to our ScanDo, if we could, and kind of recap what happened earlier. This was video from the Road Warrior of the moment when meteorologist Nathan Santo Domingo actually had the tornado touching down just near the Shell Rock area. We now have confirmation that a home was unfortunately destroyed near Waverly, and Nathan also showed us some damage that occurred around the Shell Rock area there, with some corn flattened, a home damage, and trees that were down, power lines down there too. And you can see the base of that cloud and then it touching the ground and debris getting kicked up. So that is a tornado that was on the ground earlier near the Shell Rock area. And this is why we are still here. Even though we don't have those same images, this is why we're still here. This is also a view from the Lake City tornado that was out to our west earlier today. It also did some damage out there. That one a bit more defined and I think was on the ground for quite a bit of time too. Isn't that right, Nick?
Yeah, look at that tornado started near Lake City and actually ended at least 8 to 9 miles east of Lake City based on some of the reports. So that was definitely one of those long track tornadoes. And that was when these tornadoes were more visible. We had storms that were more discreet. The problem now is we have a big line. We're losing those isolated, discrete storms, which may help prevent stronger tornadoes going forward. That's good news. The problem, though, is we lose the ability to really see them. And so a lot of this becomes more of a challenge after the fact of confirming tornadoes. Like what you look at there on the right side of your screen, that's the view from Weather First meteorologist Nathan Santo Domingo. He continues to track this storm up towards Chickasaw County. At last report, still does have a report of a confirmed tornado up that way. I don't think we're really going to be able to see it based on just how much rain is falling with this storm. But again, this tornado warning does continue until 7:15. You can see observed tornadoes. So this has a history of producing tornadoes all the way out west towards Floyd County, and produced tornadoes on and off through Floyd County, and is now moving portions of central Chickasaw County. So again, this is a dangerous storm. It's approaching New Hampton right now, if not basically on top of you in New Hampton. That will be passing over New Hampton and then following basically State Highway 24 as it begins to exit Chickasaw County. Let's take a look at the velocity view. Hopefully this thing is weakening a little bit. It's been very stubborn. It's been very consistently producing rotation. You can see there is some indication of rotation here pretty much right over New Hampton. It looks weaker. That's good news. We don't want it strong. We want some weaker rotation. We want these storms to go away is what we really want. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be sticking with this for quite some time. Again, that rotation pretty much right on top of New Hampton right now. About the radar view, it's more isolated than other storms, so that's at least is a concern for tornado potential. But either way, we'll keep an eye on it. Again, we do have weather first meteorologist Nathan Sanchez. We go pretty much right on it, keeping an eye on it. I don't know if we can talk to Nathan, if he just wants to chime in, kind of what you're seeing out that way. Obviously, it looks like a big, mean storm, lots of rain falling, but it looks pretty difficult to actually see what's happening there, Nathan.
Yeah, it's really difficult to see if there's anything going on at the surface. It's going to be almost completely shrouded by rain. One thing, we did just drive through New Hampton and kind of gave ourselves an opportunity to roll down the windows. We didn't hear any sirens. I'm not sure if New Hampton does have sirens or not, but we didn't hear anything. But folks in New Hampton, this is pretty much right on top of you, so don't go out and try and take a look at this. Make sure you stay in that safe place because the circulation is still there. But what you're looking at right now, we're driving eastbound on Highway 24 just to the east of New Hampton. What you're looking back at, and I'll kind of pan over here to the right, and I know we have a lot of tree clutter in the way, so hopefully some gaps here will give me an opportunity here. But we're kind of looking into the area where there would still be some rotation in this storm. We have winds when we pass through New Hampton. They're pretty gusty out of the south, so there is some nice warm inflow air still going into this storm, but it's trying to get cut off by all of that precipitation. You see that very bright color there. That is a lot of rain. That's what we call the rear flank downdraft. The cold air surging down from high up into the cloud down towards the surface. And so where that kind of light and dark meet, if there was any tornado, that's where it would be, which for New Hampton, the good news is that it appears to be just north of town in mainly rural area. But of course, folks in New Hampton still in that tornado warning. So don't take this lightly. And one thing that is kind of curious here is this line of storms starts to kind of take shape here. It looks like maybe it's sort of tried to build back a little bit further to the west. I don't know, Nick, if you're also seeing that on the radar. If you want to take a look at that, maybe some sort of weaker rotation once again back towards Bassett. It's very subtle. I think the stronger rotation still near New Hampton. But Nick, go ahead and take a look at that.
Yeah, that's right. I think we're kind of watching that. I think what we're also starting to see is kind of the near end of our event here. Up here in our far northwestern counties, I think these storms are starting to form on the cold front as opposed to what we call the open warm sector. So once that cold front sweeps through, that'll be the end of our event. Unfortunately, we have some time to go because that has to go all the way through eastern Iowa. So some good news, though. We're down to 2 tornado warnings. We're making some progress. At one point, we had at least 4, if not 5 tornado warnings in progress. We're down to 2. Obviously, Nathan, on the one up there towards Chickasaw County. And we'll jump up there, just kind of take a look at that. And I do want to look at the velocity view to kind of get a better idea of what's happening here. But again, you can kind of see there's rotation. It looks weaker. This is good news. This is promising. I'm hoping we can let this tornado warning go soon based on reports. You can see they did just remove the observed tag. So that's another step in the right direction. The storm is no longer producing a tornado, but it still has some rotation aloft. That's a good sign this storm is starting to weaken just a little bit. Again, that is towards New Hampton. Still want to take it seriously. I'm not belittling the fact at all. You still want to make sure you're in a safe place just because that storm has a history of producing tornadoes. We've seen how fast these things can spin up. So want to make sure you're doing that up that way. We'll look southwest here. Again, there's some signs of kind of rotation here along the cold front. There's a lot of wind shear in place today. Although I think what may help us is that this is starting to form on the cold front. That cold front can what we call undercut those storms, prevent them from getting that rich, warm, moist, unstable air. So that's some good news up that way. Hopefully, we're starting to kind of lose the potential there. All right, let's jump down to that other tornado warning. And we're down to 2. We're almost out of here. I know Big Brother's on at 7-ish, I think. I don't even watch TV, so I don't really know. But I do know it's on tonight, and we're hoping we can get you normal programming. We'll see what we can do. But for the time being, we want to make sure we're keeping everybody safe. I'm joking aside. You got to want to make some light of the situation. We do have, again, tornadoes. These are dangerous storms. These are moving again. We have this tornado warning here for Northwestern Buchanan County. For the time being, Independence is not in that warning, but we do have this potential for the storm here. So Hazleton, the worst of it almost through you here. This is one of the last tornado warnings here. We're down to 2. The one in Tama County, as I'm sure you can probably surmise, has been canceled. We'll do a wider view over eastern Iowa. The problem, though, is as we start to transition from maybe more of a widespread tornado threat will be a wind threat. We're starting to see that big line of storms form here, ever so slowly moving off to the south and east. So we are watching that very closely here. We'll jump over towards the storm in Tama County. Again, these storms are still strong. They're still producing winds of 60 miles per hour. That's enough to topple trees and power lines. So they're still worth taking shelter from. You don't want to stand outside. Also, a lot of lightning. There's a lot of instability in play today. So these storms are likely producing a lot of lightning. So you want to make sure you're staying inside somewhere safe. With that said, though, the tornado warning has been canceled here up in northern Tama County. Severe thunderstorm warning, though, does continue until 7:30. So we still have some time to go. There's a very good chance these warnings will continue to push off to the east just because, we're watching that very closely. We have that tornado watch, which continues until midnight tonight. So we kind of knew this might be a late event, late night affair, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now. What I do want to look at is, remember earlier today we had all these tornado warnings here along Highway 20. We still have one, and that's likely along that cold front here that's starting to push through the north central part of the state. This here is likely the end of our event. Once it moves through, we'll be okay. Unfortunately, we still have some time to go here. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings, which do continue here in eastern Iowa. So let's jump over to that. We'll jump back and forth, and we'll jump back up north. But again, we do have this severe thunderstorm warning. This is northwestern Benton County, northern Benton County, into southern portions of Buchanan County. Again, we're also talking about the potential of 60-mile-per-hour winds here, which again can still topple trees and power lines. These are still strong storms. You want to make sure you are taking shelter with these. But again, the tornado threat for now appears to be off to the north, up towards areas like Hazleton. This severe thunderstorm warning does continue until 7:15. Again, there is some potential with the next round of warnings, which probably get issued here pretty soon. It may start approaching the Cedar Rapids metro. For now, things are still quiet, but maybe what you want to do is put some yard furniture away, put the chairs away, put the umbrella away, maybe park away from trees, just because the fact that we're still talking about some strong wind gusts. You have time to prepare. That's the point of these watches, to give you kind of a preliminary heads up of what might be coming. We'll do one more reset with that tornado warning up towards Chickasaw County, which again, no longer confirmed. That's the good news there, but it's still a tornado warning, moving right through the New Hampton area, heading towards areas like Lawler. Let's send things over to Weather First meteorologist Sarah Flynn. Do you have any updates kind of coming your way with the Weather Service chat?
Yeah, not much. We still see those 2 tornado warnings continuing and those severe thunderstorm warnings. You did mention the wind is obviously a threat. Most of those are tagged with 60-mile-per-hour winds, if not 70-mile-per-hour gusts moving towards that direction. And paired with that, we're also continuing to track that lightning threat, really, as these storms do push across the region. If we can flip back over to Max 1 really quick and take that full. There we go. Looking at some of the lightning with these storms, it really is producing a decent amount, especially down to the south with these severe thunderstorms. And that's when we're seeing that concern for those damaging winds. Now, it is important to note that, again, want to refresh, this tornado watch does continue for really the bulk of our area until midnight. So that's another 5 hours. It could get expired a little bit before then, but we do know that we're going to continue to see these storms for quite a bit of time. They may lose some of the severity with them. We may lose some of those tornado warnings, but it is something to continue to take note of as it really is going to engulf most of our area if you haven't seen that severe weather earlier on today. I don't know if you have any other reports, Rebecca?
We haven't really gotten many reports, and the Weather Service just maintaining that there's that potential for the lightning that is quite frequent in some of these thunderstorms too, that's going to be coming in, the strong winds. Also that we do have the potential of seeing those 60 to 70 mile per hour winds as the storms come on through. I also wanted to maybe just some commentary on how this year has gone. We had 4 tornadoes in the state prior to today reported in 2021, and now we've had how many? 4 maybe reported in a day, 3 at least that we know of. So this is also why we do this too, because we have gotten lucky, for better use of a word, I suppose, so far this season in terms of severe weather that we had not seen. We'd been talking about the 3rd least amount of warnings to date. Now we've had several warnings across the state. These tornadoes that have been reported too. This has been the biggest day that we've seen across the state of Iowa so far this year. And we want to make sure that you're taking these storms seriously, because we have seen damage. Somebody lost their home because of Storm 2. And now we have a new tornado warning, it looks like there.
That is exactly correct. That one is for Tama County. We just got the update in there until 7:30 p.m. Radar indicated at this time, nothing confirmed with this storm, but let's take a look at the velocity. Pretty strong signature there. Again, this one likely going to be rain wrapped again. So if you are within this area, get into that shelter here quickly. You're not going to likely see anything if you're looking out your window and trying to get some pictures. In this area, though, we still do have those severe thunderstorm warnings in play. So even if you aren't in that tornado warning that you're seeing right there for Tama County until 7:30 p.m., the rest of the area is producing a lot of lightning, producing winds up to about 70 miles per hour as I'm seeing some reports come in. So definitely a dangerous line of thunderstorms, and ones that should be taken really seriously. I don't think we have any confirmed reports quite yet on this tornado warning, but Nick, this is a fairly strong signature that we should be taking seriously here.
Yeah, you can really kind of see on the radar view, kind of the reds, again, we're going away from the radar, which is over towards Des Moines, going away from the radar, the greens toward the radar here. That's that spin right here, just about Highway 21. This is going to be approaching Dysart. So again, it's going to be really, really close here. Based on this, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the Weather Service in the Quad Cities issue a tornado warning here for Benton County. That may be coming soon. I don't want to, say what they're going to probably do, but there's some potential here. We might see a tornado warning here issued. This wouldn't likely include areas like Garrison. So based on that radar imagery, if you are in Garrison, if you are over towards Vinton, I would want to make sure you're in your safe place now. Maybe start getting ready to go because that looks like a pretty menacing storm there right to the west of the Tama-Benton County line. Again, that's a pretty strong indication of rotation there. We'll do a measurement of the wind speed. Again, right there, 56 miles per hour. So that's pretty respectable. That's a pretty strong indication of rotation. Remember, we had that tornado near Prairie du Chien not too long ago, a few weeks ago. The rotation of the radar there was like maybe 20 miles an hour. So not all storms are created equal here in that regard. Let's go ahead and look at the
per hour 15. If you wanted to draw out. So, it likely will get extended, but it is moving pretty slow. So
let's go ahead and we'll draw a fan on that guy here. Again, this is for that tornado warning here in northern Tama County. You said 15, right? Okay, sorry. Spacing out here. All right, so again, that's moving off to the east here. So again, apparently nothing. I know I missed Garrison here. It's rural Benton County, so that's some good news here. But unfortunately, areas like Dysart and over towards Garrison, that's where that storm will start approaching. So Garrison by about 7:25, and Vinton, and there we go. We're kind of just stalling for time, waiting for that warning to finally get issued. So here we go. We have that new tornado warning here for northern Benton County. Again, this goes back to the Weather Service lines. Des Moines takes over this county, Tama County. Weather Service in the Quad Cities takes over Benton County. That's kind of why we were kind of waiting there. Let's go ahead again, look at the velocity view, because that is of concern as it's moving. Yeah, that's looking stronger. Right now, this is just to the west of the Benton County and Tama County line. This is moving into northern Benton County right now. You can see right behind me, Vinton, not technically in this tornado warning, but you want to be careful with it. Keep in mind, it's only moving 15 miles per hour, so it's going to take some time. There's some potential there for the storm to weaken before it gets to you. Also some potential for it to strengthen before it gets to you. So just want to maybe keep an eye on this storm. Maybe if you have a safe place to go, a basement. We haven't had to use it a lot this year. Maybe make sure it's cleared out. Want to make sure you have a safe place to go. That circulation here, about Highway 21 and Highway 8, that's going to be crossing again the Benton-Tama County lines, moving right to where Highway 8 meets Highway 218. So it's going to be following Highway 8, and then eventually we'll be following Highway 218 there off to the east. So again, Garrison will be in the threat for this storm. Let's go ahead. We'll zoom out here. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll get us out by 7 o'clock with that new tornado warning. But again, this does continue again for northern and northwestern Benton County that until 7:45. This line of storms continues to move off to the east. And again, this is what will be inevitably coming into the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City metros. We hope it weakens, but keep in mind that tornado watch does continue until midnight tonight. We knew it was going to be a late night. We got pizza, so I'm excited for that once it's finally over with. We'll zoom out here. We'll kind of take a wider view. Again, so we're back to technically 4 tornado warnings, technically 3 different tornado warned storms. We had that tornado warning up there towards Chickasaw County. I don't know if we do have the double box ready for Nathan. Just kind of curious what things look like up there. Okay, so he lost cell phone service, but the Road Warrior has ability to send signals back in lower cell service, and we do have a live picture at least. Again, that's that tornado warning up here towards Chickasaw County. For now, again, that tornado warning does continue, but it's no longer confirmed. That storm, to me, looks a little bit more outflow, meaning that it's probably weakening. It's like warm inflow is probably a bit cut off. But here again is that tornado warning, which does continue for Chickasaw. We can leave it double boxed here for a little bit. Again, that circulation probably now east of New Hampton, basically following Highway 24. Lawler will be the next place in line there. We'll take a look at the velocity view right here. We'll talk, kind of look at what the rotation is. Doesn't look like much, so that's promising. And look at that. Magic. Tornado warning is gone. We are done with that. Let's things out real quick, though, to Weather First meteorologist Nathan Santo-Domingo. I want to talk a little bit just kind of about what you've seen with that storm so far and kind of what you've also seen earlier this evening, Nathan.
Yeah, Nick, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head here. We're driving through a little heavy cell that popped up just to the north of Fredericksburg. So we're south of Lawler, north of Fredericksburg, driving through quite a bit of rain. So unfortunately, we're not having the view behind us that I was hoping to, but you can kind of see a little bit of a shelf cloud there as it fades off into the distance behind this rain. And the reason for that is exactly what you said. This storm has kind of it's been taken over by outflow. So that cold air at the very top of the thunderstorm has come surging down, got out ahead of it. And I think that's actually what triggered this little cell that popped up here just to the north of Fredericksburg. So we're going to go ahead and continue to drive to the south here, stay out ahead of this line of storms as it continues to kind of move slowly off to the south and east. But it's been a busy day. We had to we started over in Grundy County. And we were watching that tornado-warned storm as it moved towards Shell Rock and Waverly for the longest time. Had to deal with some river valleys, some trees, and eventually we were able to get you that confirmed video of that tornado even doing some damage. We saw some debris being lofted in the air, and as we, again, kept driving further and further off into the east, we did see some of that damage, and that actually is what prevented us from going further to the east. We had power lines over the roadway just to the west of Janesville, and so we kind of had to do a little bit of a 360 and decided to go up here into Chickasaw County and take a peek at this storm. So now we're going to go stay out ahead of these storms. Hopefully everyone in Waverly and Shell Rock, you guys are doing okay. Keep in mind that there are still a chance for some showers and storms, so folks doing the the emergency response to that damage, the initial responders to that damage. Make sure that if you know anyone out in that location, in that area, there's still some more thunder and lightning to go as we go through the evening. And we're going to continue to follow these storms here in the Road Warrior, make our way back down to the south towards the 380 corridor, and hopefully continue to provide you guys updates here as the severe threat continues, at least for the next couple of hours. Live out in the Road Warrior, meteorologist Nathan Sancho-Domingo, back to you guys in the studio.
Fantastic work there, Nathan. Thank you so much for all your help tonight so far. Again, we are watching this tornado warning. This one is unfortunately of more concern. We were really watching that circulation increase in intensity. Right now near Dysart, moving off to the east. This is far eastern Tama County, now entering into northern Benton County. So Garrison over towards Vinton. You want to make sure you're watching the storm very closely. Garrison, you should probably be in your safe place right now, because that is a very strong indication of rotation. Right at the Highway 21, Highway 8 intersection. Radar may be a bit displaced, but you can see that is that might be one of the strongest rotations we've seen so far tonight. Unfortunately, this is out of my way. So let me try and, all right, hold on. We're gonna make this work. I'm gonna pan off. Oh, wait, no, I still have it selected. Boom, boom, there we go. Apparently, that's not right. Okay, well, it's definitely one of the stronger couplets that we've seen so far. Again, this is far eastern Tama County. Let's go ahead and let me change the radar sites. That might be part of the issue. We'll go over into the Des Moines radar. Oh boy.
There's been a couple of spotters out that way too that have been posting some pictures of some lowering occurring. I haven't seen, there are some people on the storm.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything touching the ground, but there certainly looks like there has been at least a funnel cloud that has been around and a wall cloud that's there.
Okay. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, I think that might be the strongest rotation we've seen so far tonight. And the problem with this one is that it's really embedded in heavy rainfall. You're not going to be able to see this thing. There's really no point in going out to look at it because you're not going to be able to see it. It's heavily wrapped in rain. That's an 87-mile-per-hour gate-to-gate shear. That's the rotation in that storm, pretty much right on Dysart right now. Again, this is heading into northern Benton County. This will be heading slowly east. It's a slow-moving storm heading towards Garrison and over towards Vinton as well. So need to watch the storm very closely as it continues to move off to the east. We'll go back to the radar view.
On the ScanDo too, if we can pull up the ScanDo, I have a picture so you can see that there of on the weather ScanDo.
Wow.
And that is not in Tama. That is that's the producer ScanDo. There we go. So that was in Tama just a couple of minutes ago, or Dysart, Tama County, just a couple of minutes ago.
Okay. You can see there's definitely kind of probably a funnel cloud going on there. I'm surprised it's as visible as it is. I wouldn't be surprised if that might be just kind of scud on the leading edge of that thing. I'm a little intrigued because I don't know. That definitely is concerning looking. It's definitely at least a funnel cloud, and there's definitely rotation with the storm. There's no doubt about that. So we definitely know that this is a storm worth watching. If we can go back to Max 1 here. Thank you very much. And again, this tornado warning does continue now until 7:45. What I don't like to see is that this appears to be more of an inflow notch starting to form here, which means this storm might be starting to intensify in northern Benton County here. Probably strong inflow going in here. Rotation will be right around here. Dysart heading into, again, northern Benton County, running right along Highway 8. Newest scan there kind of confirms that. Looks like a pretty good inflow notch right there. It does appear the worst of that storm is now either on or now just east of the Tama-Benton County line on Highway 8. Go back to velocity view here. Ooh, boy, that's concerning.
It's not confirmed. It's a preliminary spotter report with that storm right there over Dysart.
A possible tornado, you said, or?
Funnel cloud.
Funnel cloud. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, again, that might be probably the most concerning rotation I've seen so far tonight. That's pretty strong. I might have to dance around this a little bit. It's a little noisy, but there's clearly something really spinning pretty quick in here. And again, just now crossing into northern Benton County. So I don't want to forget about everybody else. We'll kind of do a quick reset here, kind of see where else we are. Obviously, northern Benton County and far eastern Tama County. You're going to want to make sure you're in your safe place. And treat these storms with respect, because we've seen what's happened already today. We know these storms have a history of producing tornadoes. We've seen damage from these tornadoes. We've heard of houses destroyed near Waverly. So that's how you know there's some pretty significant potential with these storms. We're down to 2 tornado warnings again. Well, technically 2 tornado warning storms. Again, Benton County as well as Buchanan County. I'm not really sure why this storm has not been canceled yet. It looks like the worst of the storm is past there. So let's go ahead and do a quick zoom in here. Yeah, I think the storm's pretty much done. I wouldn't worry about this storm here. Buchanan just expired. All right, there we go.
Updated.
So beautiful. So that storm is out of here. So Northwestern, Buchanan County, you are okay. But Independence, you're probably dealing with some pretty strong wind gusts right now with this storm. It's still a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this does continue for Buchanan and Delaware counties until 7:45. We'll zoom out to kind of give you a wider view of the storm. Main threat with this, again, is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Maybe some large hail as well, up to maybe quarters. But really, I think the wind threat is probably going to be the biggest threat with this storm. Again, that's that storm here, right along the Highway 20 corridor. It's moving off to the east down Highway 20. Does include Manchester. Manchester will be in the thick of it here pretty soon. We'll kind of look at this storm here. Again, this is a fairly new severe thunderstorm warning for Buchanan and Delaware counties until 7:45. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts will be possible. Again, Independence, you're in it right now. Dundee, Manchester. These areas were in the storms earlier today. In fact, I was right up here earlier today. So they've already had some pretty heavy rainfall. So the potential is we might also start dealing with some localized flash flooding, maybe on some of those gravel or dirt roads. We're seeing a lot of rain tonight, a lot of moisture in the air. I'm sure you can feel it. So that may be another threat that we watch as we go throughout the night. That severe thunderstorm warning again does continue until 7:45 for Buchanan and Delaware counties. So let's go ahead. We'll jump back down to the most menacing storm, which remains that storm here in northern Benton County, now crossing into Benton County.
I'm hearing from the producers that we do have a picture of this storm if we want to pull that up on P-Scan.
Yeah, let's go right ahead.
Take a look at it.
So this is from that storm. This is would be that storm here because she had the photo earlier. So this is near Dysart there in far northeastern Tama County into northern Benton County. You can see a pretty good shelf cloud there. It's at least bare minimum a sign of some pretty strong wind gusts with that storm. Again, there's also that tornado threat as well. Pretty strong indication of rotation with this storm, but that's the storm we're seeing there. So definitely need to keep an eye on this. This one, what, 15 miles an hour to the east, Sarah, correct?
I believe so. That's what it was. Let me double check it.
Sure.
In case it's sped up.
Slow-moving storm, which the other issue with these slow-moving storms will be, once again, going back to the flash flooding threat.
It's east at 25.
Ooh, it's up to 25, so
still slow though.
You can almost outrun it. So again, the tornado warning does continue there for Benton County. I want to go back to the velocity view here. Let's hope this is weakening, but I didn't like the signs of it. It's still very stubborn. There's some good news here. I do like this. It looks like an outflow boundary starting to kind of get kicked out ahead of this circulation. That's some promising news there, but it takes time for that outflow to undercut that circulation. So it still is a dangerous storm. There's no doubt about it. This is at least strong wind gusts, probably 60. I wouldn't be surprised if we do approach 70, just based on how strong that storm is gushing out ahead of it. So there's some strong there. Ooh, that's another strong rotation there. Just as I'm saying it might be weakening, I see it strengthening. 92, that is definitely the strongest rotation we've seen so far today. There's absolutely no reason we wouldn't be on the air for this storm. That is a very dangerous storm now in northwestern Benton County. That's strong rotation.
We are getting a lot of unconfirmed reports from this storm. So definitely something to take seriously. I do think it is the strongest storm that we have seen today. You can see that gate-to-gate shear or that rotation up to 92. We've only seen, I think, up to 60 or 70 at this point. So something to take very seriously. At this time, this is the only tornado warned storm in eastern Iowa, but tagged along with it, we do have several severe thunderstorm warnings there as well. Not sure if we have any pictures coming in of this storm.
I do have one I'm going to get on the weather scan do if you give me just a second. Actually, another view of some lowering happening.
Yeah, we'll take the P-Scan do first, and then we'll come back to weather scan do if that's okay.
So I have it up. Oh, there, he had the same one I had. So there you go. So
where is this?
This is near Dysart.
That looks like a tornado to me. So that's a concern.
It does.
Yeah, that's very likely a tornado in progress there. Whether it's now or was recently, that's definitely a concerning view. So again, we've been telling you northern Benton County, Wouldn't be surprised if we do see that warning go observed based on that picture. Did the weather service get tagged in that by chance?
I'm going to send it to them.
Yeah, I hope that's be good news. Yeah, so that's obviously a very strong indication of rotation on
They're
radar.
saying they are getting a spotter report, large tornado moved through or near Dysart, power flashes and flying debris noted. That's a not confirmed preliminary spotter report,
Sure.
but I'm going to,
yeah. I think we probably see this warning go confirmed here momentarily. If we go back to radar, again, that's a strong indication of rotation right now, right down Highway 8. This is Highway 218. It's just to the west of Garrison. So again, if you are in Garrison, if you're a farmer around Garrison, you need to take shelter now. This is a pretty strong storm. I'm actually kind of curious, this kind of close-ish to the radar. There is some chaos happening here. I don't think it's too accurate. There might be some indication of debris there, but that's really just too noisy to really get anything confirmed out of there. But that is definitely a sign. We're definitely watching, definitely some concerning sights here on radar. So again, this is a very, very powerful storm. Likely, there it is, confirmed tornado. So we're now confirmed tornado here in northern Benton County. So Garrison, if you're in Vinton, I'd start taking your tornado safe plans right now. Lowest level of a home, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. A closet, a basement, best places to be. This storm is moving, not fast, 25 miles an hour, but it is moving right down Highway 8. It's basically at the Highway 8, Highway 218 intersection right now. This is approaching Vinton. So Garrison, Vinton. Sparsely populated area, but still there are people that live here. If you know somebody that may not be watching the weather, if you know somebody that may be taking a nap or something like that up north in northern Benton County, give them a call, give them a text. This is a very dangerous storm. By chance, what is the observed tag? Do they say anything specific with that observed tag there, sir, Rebecca?
Located near Dysart or 11 miles west of Vinton. That is all they're saying there. Okay. It must have been just from that spotter report. And that picture, I mean, it basically looked like you had kind of a cone dropping down in the middle of that big shape of the storm there. So certainly possible that there's a tornado, and then also possible in that it's getting rain wrapped in that heavy rain that's falling there.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can see that photo. I mean, how difficult. You have to be in the absolute perfect spot to see that. Based on his Twitter handle, High Risk Chris, I'm assuming he's a storm chaser and storm spotter, so he knows what he's doing. It's going to be very, very difficult to mimic that shot or be able to see that tornado. It's going to be heavily wrapped in rain. And again, this is a very dangerous storm. It's moving in northern Benton County. Confirmed tornado now, moving right near Garrison. I want to go back to the velocity view. We had a kind of a garbage scan there. That looks better. Again, still a pretty strong indication of rotation. May have weakened a little bit. Still 88, though. That's really strong. That's a really strong indication of rotation. Again, this is northern Benton County. Also, if I'm forgetting any storms, feel free to shout out at me. I think this is the only tornado warning we're watching right now.
You are correct, yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so we're down to one storm. Unfortunately, it's a strong storm. This does continue to move off to the east, heading into the Vinton area. So Vinton, again, you got to make sure you're in a safe place. You might not be technically in the warning yet, but it may not be a bad idea to at least make sure you can get there easily. You want to make sure you give yourself time, because that looks even stronger with that newest scan there. 84 miles an hour, still dancing along. It continues to move off to the east. I'll go back to the radar view. This is kind of what you're more typical to seeing, the raindrop view. Again, that circulation was right here by the Highway 8 sign. Notice all the reds and oranges around it. That's that heavy rainfall. Maybe some small hail, but primarily heavy rainfall. It's completely wrapped in rain. You're not going to be able to see it. This is a very dangerous storm. You might be able to see the power flashes as power poles go down. This area was hit rather hard by the derecho back in August. So this is something to keep in mind. Some trees already might be damaged from the derecho. They could then get knocked down by the strong winds and possible tornado here. So again, this is a very dangerous storm as it moves through northern Benton County. It does continue until 7:45. It's a slow mover, only about 25 miles an hour, but it is concerning. 84 miles an hour is the rotation of the atmosphere. That's how much the raindrops are rotating. And so that gives us a rather good idea of exactly what's happening there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to just jump out wide, bring everybody up to speed here. We do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings which continue, but now we are down to one again. So that's promising. This is a wider view over eastern Iowa. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning for Buchanan and western Delaware counties. That's right on the Highway 20 corridor. We have that tornado warning now in northwestern Benton County, and that's very much probably the strongest storm of the day that I've seen so far. Very likely a strong tornado there. Hopefully it can stay out in open fields, unfortunately for farmers' crop, but hopefully it can at least stay away from structures, barns, and things like that. And we also do have that severe thunderstorm warning for northern Tama County. But again, the biggest threat for now is that storm in northwestern Benton. So again, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City metros, we continue to watch what's unfolding off the north and northwest. We do have that yellow, that's that tornado watch, which does continue until midnight tonight. We knew it was going to likely be a long night of watching these storms, and that's what we're watching right now. Let's go ahead and bring you back up to speed on this storm, and then we will check in with Sarah. If you do have any new reports kind of coming in from the Weather Service, obviously everyone I'm sure is watching this storm right now with very close eyes.
Right, that is the main storm that we are talking about right now. Confirmed on the ground. We are seeing a few social media images come in with that. It is continuing to move fairly slowly, but we do see a really strong rotation with it still at this time. That's one of those strong signatures that you look for when you want to think of tornadoes on the ground. And unfortunately, we may not be getting a ton of things over social media due to the fact that it looks to be rain wrapped, and it's very difficult to see that confirmation. But as of now, it is confirmed. It's on the ground. If you're anywhere along Highway 218 headed into the Vinton area, especially western Vinton, this is your time to be getting into that safe space and taking cover. Now, we are down to one tornado warning. We do have two severe thunderstorm warnings still in play in the region. This one up to the north for Buchanan and Delaware counties is still labeled as TOR possible. So we could see it continue to strengthen and continue to develop into that. But for now, it is a severe thunderstorm. We're tracking winds upwards of about 60 to 70 miles per hour with the storm. And of course, that ongoing hail threat, but something we will continue to watch, especially because it has that tornado possible tag. So let's take a look at the velocity with this. Again, nothing too strong or too significant here just yet, but we could definitely see that change over the next couple of minutes here as it really does continue to strengthen as we head throughout the evening.
I will say, Sarah, too, down by that Benton County storm. Now, I would not be surprised if the Weather Service updates this the warning a bit here, because it's starting to go a little bit further north. So it's north of Garrison. Mount Auburn, I have more concern there than in Vinton. This likely passes north of the city of Vinton. I'm not going to give you the all clear Vinton, but I would say Mount Auburn, you're not in this warning, but we're starting to see some strengthening here between the reds and the greens you're seeing on that radar, that rotation. So Mount Auburn, this is 218 and Highway 8. And that just hopped up north. So yeah. I would not be surprised if they extend this north. In fact, they need to. They need to. Mount Auburn, you need to be taking your tornado precautions now. They're saying that there is a confirmed tornado, possibly rain wrapped, strong rotation occurring there, and that is heading to kind of in a northeasterly direction. So I'm anticipating they're going to update this warning here, but it certainly needs to include Mount Auburn.
Yeah, for sure. It was moving east at 25 miles per hour. I would argue it's moving at least northeast at this point. So if you're in that Mount Auburn area, we'll zoom into the street view here. Anywhere along 17th Avenue, 53rd Street, get off 53rd Street. Mount Auburn is the biggest city that we're targeting kind of right now with this. If you are still in this area, the Garrison area, I'm not going to say you're in the clear, but it does look like it's moving away from you at this time. But again, we should see a quick tornado warning update here shortly, likely engulfing areas of Mount Auburn, potentially as far off northeast to Brandon area. Regardless, you're dealing with some strong storms there as well. So I don't think we have any more complete updates on this yet, but I do expect that, as Rebecca mentioned, that tornado warning will be extended to further north Benton County.
I asked the Weather Service if they were going to update the polygon there, because that rotation is about to get out. So please, if you are not in this warning in Mount Auburn, please start taking your tornado precautions and get to the lowest level away from the windows and such. Don't try and look for this thing, because it is likely rain wrapped or very difficult to see. And I haven't heard from the Weather Service yet, but Nick, I'd imagine they're gonna update this polygon here.
Yeah, can you do me a favor? Can you kind of loop back the last maybe like 5 or 6 frames, and you can really kind of see just how much that storm is rotated. I mean, it's kind of moving east, and it kind of started booking back north here. So that's One, that tells me maybe occluding. Storms that these tornadoes tend to weaken a little bit. They tend to shift northwest. Unfortunately, though, that means there's still a tornado in progress. That's a very clear example that there is a tornado in progress. Some good news, at least. It does look like the rotation's weakening a little bit. The outflow boundary may have kind of kicked out ahead of it, but still treat this as it is a very dangerous storm. We still know that there is a tornado possible, if not already occurring. There is a very menacing picture of a tornado near Dysart. Moving eastward into northern Benton County. So the storm has a history of producing. That's the photo. I mean, my goodness. That's a very concerning image there. There was reports of like power flashes too at one point and flying debris. Yeah, so this has a history of producing damage as well in that area. I wouldn't be surprised if we do have some power outages kind of starting to pop up here in northern Benton County. Let's go ahead and pop the radar view back on here. It's 7:24. We have one tornado warning to go here. Unfortunately, it is a bad one. This storm does have a history of producing a tornado and a pretty menacing tornado at that. Again, this is for northern Benton County. Vinton, you're right on the line. I still would take your tornado precautions just in case this does continue to move east. What I am seeing here is potentially another inflow knot starting to form here, and that could be a sign of more warm, moist air trying to fuel maybe a secondary area of rotation here. In fact, let me just pop over on the velocity view. Maybe trying to do something funky there, but for now, not a huge concern. But what is a big concern now is this air rotation. Let's go ahead and pop up the camera view. We'll zoom in. We'll try and get you a little bit tighter here. Talk about these areas that are definitely going to be impacted. Again, you got Mount Auburn up here. Again, that's moving off to the east. Any new information coming our way, guys?
The National Weather Service did extend the warning, and they're saying they're continuing it with that observe tag, saying confirmed tornado located 1 mile north of Garrison, moving east at 25 miles per hour. I would still say, though, that's definitely taken that northern jog as we were just talking about, and I wouldn't be surprised if they push this polygon a little bit further north. I don't know why they haven't quite yet.
Yeah, it does still say it's moving east, but I would argue it's moving even a little bit more northeast here. So that Mount Auburn area, I would take cover.
I want to watch it. Again, it's still spinning at 41 miles an hour, considerably lower than what it was. But keep in mind, the storm that produced the damage up by Waverly was around this strength. So again, we are pretty far from the radar site. We're in between the Quad Cities down in Davenport and the Des Moines radar over in, obviously, Des Moines. Yeah, that's kind of what we're watching right now. So we're kind of in between those two radars. It's not the greatest view, but it's the best that we can give you. And again, that's that circulation there completely wrapped in rain. You're not going to be able to see it. You might be able to see power flashes. We had reports of power flashes with some of those storms. So we do know there was, or if not was, still is a tornado in progress, likely somewhere around 17th Avenue, kind of southwest of Mount Auburn. That's kind of the area that we're watching right now for the potential of that tornado. We'll pop over to velocity view. We'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Again, for now, this is the only show in town in terms of tornadoes. We have nothing else going on in terms of the tornado threat except this storm right here in northern Benton County. Passing very close to Garrison, just north of the Garrison area. We have Mount Auburn up here. This rotation continues. Mount Auburn, I would definitely make sure you're getting in your tornado safe place right now. It's too close to call. Hopefully it's weakening. Hopefully that northwest movement or that northeast movement is kind of a sign of weakening, but we can't guarantee that.
Yeah, Nick, so we just actually got a report in Benton County Emergency Management, brief tornado touchdown along 18th Avenue, 1 mile north of Garrison. So
it's certainly possible that
touchdown lifted. It is looking a little bit further off. Yeah, so I do think the storm is still shifting far off to the north a little bit.
Okay.
But that is the confirmation that we have at this time.
You can kind of see the storm report right there. Sometimes these are a bit estimated, but you can kind of see the report right there just north of Garrison. So we have at least a confirmed report of a tornado. I think that really just kind of lends credence to the photo that we've been showing you earlier. There's definitely something happening with this storm. Again, I believe every tornado warning we've had today at least had a history of producing tornadoes, because this was the one that was in northern Tama County that for the longest time only produced funnels. But you can see big uptick in lightning there. That tornado report was just north of Garrison. What was the time on that tornado?
7:20. So we're a little bit behind on it, but
sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so again, that continues to move off to the east-northeast. But velocity view, I do think the circulation is more probably up here at this point, kind of southwest of Mount Auburn. Still just hugging the northern fringe of that tornado warning. Showing some signs maybe of weakening. We continue to hope this thing weakens. Unfortunately, the most recent information we have, and this now as of 8 minutes ago, is that there was a tornado in progress.
And Nick, we did just get another tornado warning back for Buchanan and Delaware County.
Okay.
So that was the one that was labeled tour possible. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
Right on. Well, that's a big warning.
But it's back. It's a big one.
Okay, so we'll jump over to that. Unfortunately, every time we get down to one warning, another one always wants to pop back up. All right, so we have a new tornado warning here. Maybe part of the reason why it might be so large is it looks like there's almost like 3 different areas here. One south of Lamont, maybe northeast of Winthrop, another one south of Winthrop. This is kind of what Rebecca was talking about earlier, that QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. You start getting these spin-ups on the leading edge of these storms, and that might be what we're looking at right here. Yeah, one of those looks probably stronger than the other. Again, this is just west of Masonville. That's probably the most intimidating looking circulation with this tornado warning. You can see gate-to-gate shear of 66 miles per hour. That's pretty strong rotation there. These are moving off to the east, so this will be approaching areas like Masonville rather quickly. Winthrop, it's basically on top of you. Lamont, pretty much on top of you as well. So if you're going through eastward from